Da 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 da. What's my good cheer? Welcome, everybody. Let's give YouTube a couple of minutes to get those notifications out. In the meantime, if you've never popped into one of my lives, hi, I'm Cindy. I explore the inside and the outside. And in that beginning, we've been picking a fresh word, powerful word, inspiring word, motivational, right? These words, and we've been working with them every day for a week. And we've been doing that, I think, now for 37 weeks. I think we're picking our 37th word or 38th word this week. I guess we'll find out when we go into the word. But in the beginning of this conversation, I wanted to just talk a little bit about that giving, right? Being highly sensitive and being empathic. We give a lot of ourselves. We overwork ourselves because we're not looking for the criticism or the put downs or the pointing out of what we don't get right. So, quite often, we will stumble over ourselves to do amazing jobs. In that example of these past 4 days coming off my days off, we're not done my days off. I have to go back to work today. They called me in, right? So, I'm doing my live now so that I can go and help the company that has so graciously given me a home within my home, which is what I'm doing here, allowing to build my brand, allowing me to work on myself, to resolve some of these issues, to be able to come into some realizations for myself in a non stressful manner because we do make bad decisions when that pressure is on us, when that do as I say, not as I do. When we say, like why, and somebody says, because I told you so, right? Or somebody has made you feel that you don't have the qualities, the stamina, the energy, right? The know how, that you don't have the lessons on your tool belt, and they, with intent, make you feel inferior, make you feel uncomfortable, make you feel like you're not capable of doing what you need to do for yourself, by yourself if necessary, right? It's what I'm doing now. There are places where I would just love to be in this moment, but where I love to be is in their own lessons also, right? To each one of us, we're in our lessons. And so, in this process of these past half a dozen years or so, I've really come to realize that it's not any group, it's not any network or organization, it isn't any denomination, it isn't any political party. These are networks of people that have some similar ideas as you, have some commonalities as you, but are totally unique and different and on different missions that have different ideas. And sometimes within our own networks, we butt heads, right? For me, myself, I'm looking for those networks that are willing and open to take on new perspectives like myself, to be able to make some strides in themselves by themselves, right? And if necessary, in smaller groups or no groups at all. But this is the world that we live in, that we are forced to take sides. And that's what it is, right? Right? You don't get to play with us, right? Unless you wear this uniform, right? You don't get to be a part of this group unless you're going jogging every single morning at 7 o'clock. And, right? Like, each one of us, when we're building our own networks, and believe it or not, I'm building my own network, showing up here fresh like a loaf of bread. And hi, Andrew, I see you there. I'm on a little bit of spiel before we pick the word for next week, right? But it is in our lessons, and those lessons come in lots of forms. And I've known this lesson for myself that whatever group that I become a part of, right? My closeness is in those individual relationships, understanding that just because you're the perfect person, right, for me to hang out with, that you have those answers, that we can make some great strides together in our movement. I've got friends. You've got friends, right? How are we supposed to get along perfectly in that uniqueness that each one of us are, right? When we only have, right, these small signals of commonalities, these small understandings, right, that are mutually absorbed by each person in that group, right? It doesn't matter if we both believe in one aspect of ourselves. If, right, one of those parties has an aspect that will continuously impact, like, lots of highly sensitives and empaths, we have problems with authority, right? Right? Because our whole life we have been dictated to. We have been criticized by others who feel or have been designated as the authority, and we don't have a choice but to follow in that suit. But that doesn't mean we have to take it on as our own beliefs. If you are in these networks, right, your uniqueness should be enveloped by everybody, should be supported by everybody in that group, even if they don't believe in it in that moment. But because they love you, because they believe in you, right? They are willing, right? As long as it's not uncomfortable, as long as they don't feel that negative impact of those lessons out of those conversations and those adventures that we have, right? Good morning, Sharon. Good morning, dear, right? We should be allowed to be our own leaders, our own parents. Nobody knows us like we know us. We understand that we are making movement and creation of a better world ahead of us, right? It's in our hopes and our dreams that Cindy, at the very least, and Andrew, that we can have the lives that we create for ourselves and not worry about, right? Who's going to whip that life out from underneath us, right? To make us believe that our beliefs are wrong because somebody else believes in something else. That is a cruelty. That is something, if they are in their own lessons and they have those beliefs, they know it's not right, and yet they're doing it anyway. That is not influence. That is manipulation. That is not something Cindy is a part of. It's a big reason why I'm non denominational. It doesn't mean I don't have my beliefs, right? But other than that fact that, right, there are parts of us that are coming back, I don't push those beliefs as this is the be all to end all, because I know in this life I believe this, but in the next life I might live in a India, right, and become a Buddhist, or Thailand and become a Buddhist, right? Maybe I'll stay here in North America, but maybe I'll try, and I have tried. And as a child, I didn't. It wasn't willingness; it was forced on me, right? But maybe I would have had a better connection, right, and a better desire, and are more willing to learn if it wasn't forced down my throat that this was the truth, right? Right? So I may become a Jehovah Witness. I might become a Hutterite, right? the beliefs in each community, in each network is going to be fully different. And even though I feel this way in this life, I feel this way because of my dynamic life being forced to choke down something that didn't sit well for me. That wasn't believable to me. And in its evidence, because I wouldn't just say no without there being evidence to say, no, we're done with that. That is not a truth for me. When in a past lifetime, it might have been a truth for me. That's what I wanted to get off my chest. Be your own person. Don't let anybody tell you you're wrong. If you believe in something, if you believe in Jesus, right? Don't let anybody sway you into something different. I am very grateful that I have all denominations that kind of hang out with me and accept me for who I am. But they accept me because of the values that I move in, right? These are my values. And it's our values that make it possible that we can make a little bit of movement, right? Just because we have the same idea about something doesn't mean we have the same values about everything. We have a groundwork of values on this brand, on this channel, right? And as you come in and join us in that, you'll get to understand those values. And if those values work for you, come and hang out with us. Come and be a part of our team. Bring your uniqueness and your ideas and your lessons and your beliefs with you because we want to hear about it, right? Because we're willing to hear about it. We're willing to be course corrected in our ideas, but we're not willing to have somebody come in and say, you're wrong. That's not right. This is what it is. Open up your mouth and, right? That just doesn't happen here. That just doesn't happen here. Kindness does matter. Kindness does matter. But that respect for each other's individuality and uniqueness, that matters just as much, if not more, because in that uniqueness lies our missions, lies our purpose, lies our availability to move forward without being hurt by that, right? Whether it's physically, mentally, emotionally, right? Those are the stumbles, those are our failures, and each one of us gets to decide, right? In our choices, and we're big on choices and change here. Change is necessary. We're living in a world right now that's asking us to change, but it's not asking us to change our beliefs, right? If we believe, that's absolutely amazing, but I'm entitled to my belief just as much as anybody else is. And I'm entitled to choose, right? The people who believe, right? The way I do. But I am also, right? Able to choose people who believe differently than me. Why? Because we have some of those common values: kindness, understanding, willingness, support, right? Understanding that we're just babies in our evolution. Humans have been on this planet for a very long time, millions of years in some form, right? And in the stages of the evolution, and these are one of the ideas, right? I present it, but that doesn't mean you have to believe it because lots of people believe, right? That this idea in Christianity has only been around for like 6,000 years. But in all reality, we have been here for longer. So how did we manage to get to that point of 6,000 years ago without Jesus? We had guidance, we had influence, we had manipulation, we had friends who had the same values, we had networks that we moved in who may have had some of those same base values as we have in this moment, but more than likely, because this is a learning process, maybe not. I grew up in a dynamic family. I'm in the middle. I am the daughter of a narcissist and the daughter of an empath. I am in the middle. I get to see in different perspectives, and I am grateful for that because it has woken me up to be able to, right, build my brand, start my movement, right, with my beliefs, and be able to toss to the side some of those beliefs that were down my throat to each one of us, right? In the relationships, and we'll have lots of relationships, and we get to pick and choose individually. Don't pick the groups, pick the individual. Pick the individuals. I've been doing that. I have individuals. I have individuals in my brand, the people who follow my content, who I've been able to make friends over in the years, to be able to took years because we feel out each other, right? Just as much I feel them out, they feel me out. And as much as I trust them, they've come to trust me too, right? So we're going to bumble along a little bit, picking up individuals along the way, and those individuals are going to come from all different faiths, all different political ideas, all different cultural ideas, all kinds of family and familiar traditions, right? Some good, not some good, some very stinky, right? But it's in that time we've allotted ourselves with each of these characters that we move along with. And we move along sometimes just for a little while, right? Just to pick up a lesson. And we're able to do that because of those common base values, right? This is an open platform for everybody, right? I'm neither spiritual, I'm neither religious, right? But that doesn't mean that I haven't been. I do believe I have been. And when I get my family tree and we're going to go over it together, my sister got the family tree for me. I'm so excited to go and look at it because I haven't seen it in probably 30 or 40 years. And I'm excited to delve into my ancestry. There's a lot of bishops and archbishops. So this is why I understand that God is a big part of my life. But whether God is Jehovah, Jesus, I don't know, because Cindy in this lifetime had a different experience and was stuck in the middle and able to make her own choices. And because I have that privilege through the evidence of the characters that have come across my life and the characters I've been planted into, I get to choose. I get to choose, right? And grateful that I'm here because that's a signal that maybe possibly I might not have gotten all the lessons right. I might have not absorbed all the perfectness of what was meant for me, right? That was meant to be presented possibly to you. I'm still here, and there's still lots of time to get it right. It's never too late. You guys, I've got a bus. I still got a couple of chores before I run off to work. I have to go downtown. I just gotta find, oh my goodness, I just gotta find, oh my goodness. I thought maybe we're not going to start the new word today. Let's get our highlighter. Let's get our word for this week. We're going to work with this word all week. Um, I hope it serves you. Hope it serves me. I trust that it will. And I trust in the sequencing that it's just going to be the perfect lesson for this week. Here we go. First perspective, just a couple of minutes because I've got to run off and catch a bus. Here we go. Nervous. Here we go. Oh my goodness. We got a good one this week. I'm hoping it's a light one. I'm hoping it's a light one. So, the first thing I'm going to do is the first perspective. It's already come to my mind. We got this word this week, you guys, of patience. If you have anything to contribute, Andrew or Sharon, on this word patience, right? It might help somebody this afternoon if you wanted to, right, provide a little bit of service for somebody. But for me, with this word patience, well, for those of you who have been with me for any length of time, you know I've been a YouTube creator now for, come September, it will be 10 years. 10 years. I think I'm up to just over 3,000 subscribers here on YouTube across all my platforms. I don't think I've got more than 15 or 20,000. I would have to say 10,000 of those are on a platform that I just use for resharing my content on occasion, right? I am a YouTube and Instagram girl, right? It's what I can manage, and I think I'm good on those two platforms because of that goals, my ambitions, and I haven't shared them all because some of those are mine, right? Those are mine. And because I have them written down, that when they manifest, that I could say, I didn't say anything to you guys about this. But look at, right? I said I was going to do this, and this is what I am doing. This is what I'm going to give back to the world, not just this brand, right? This brand is still trying to find its place. It's 10 years. Am I worried about that? Am I beating myself up about that? No. But when I first started my YouTube channel, if I had known that it was going to be 10 years, maybe more, I would have quit, right? Sometimes we don't get the lessons that we want, but we get the lessons that we need, right? When I first started my YouTube channel, I thought I was going to go viral. I thought I was going to be a YouTube superstar within, might take me a year or two. And every year I go to my sister, it's the show. I'm going to be so, all right. I was so pumped. And then that discouragement sits in, right? And the difficulty sets in, right? But you're still moving, you're still taking in the lessons. 10 years later, right? I'm looking back at that person who started your YouTube channel and I'm thinking, oh my goodness, I didn't have much patience. I wanted it yesterday. But somehow, right, I allowed myself to take in some lessons from some people that I trusted, right? And it helped me to calm my system down into wanting it immediately, right? You always want it immediately. Who wants to live in the muck and the dread and the heaviness of, right, of what we are in the middle? And that is a truth. But I'm coming in strong because I realize this is a process that every single person, every single soul is going to go through. And even though it might not be in this lifetime for you, right? And it's 10 years, right? Being a YouTube superstar might not be in the plans for me, but I'm moving with that and I'm moving with that patience. And that patience after 10 years is much easier for me, right? Because it takes away the expectations, right? Of what you're not getting. I'll get what I want. 100%. In my belief, I'm going to get what I want. But what I want also includes bringing who I want, right? And sometimes when somebody's not willing and you want and you're willing and you're trying, you can be trapped in that, right? I can be trapped trying to entice, to influence, to draw in more than what I have. But sometimes you just got to be happy with that one. And sometimes that one is only yourself. So I'm good with that. I'm patient with myself because I'm here for a long, long time. I am in this moment comfortable. And when it turns into a disaster, when my routines are switched up and I've got to go to work, right? I'm going to whistle through that. I'm going to smile through that. And you could tell my voice is messed up. And I told you in my live show last night, right? In Chatter's Live that I was begged and I was grateful to have today to recoup, right? Tomorrow may be that day, right? I set my boundaries for what I need. I woke up this morning after a good night's sleep feeling refreshed, and I was able to reply with a yes. If I wasn't feeling that energy, if I wasn't feeling that, right, I could use those extra hours. I've got dental work to pay for, so those extra hours are going to serve me, right? But if I felt that it was going to interfere, if it was agitating me and just making me darn this and darn that, right? I wouldn't do it because my emotional well being, right? That happiness, that smile, that positive energy, that high vibe is what's going to get me to the next lesson, right? That lesson in patience was a big one for me. Aw, it just vanished. Yikes, Sharon, I didn't see your comment. Could you post it again? Aw, it just vanished. She'll pop it in again. You got a few minutes to get it in. We want to see, right? Sometimes, Sharon, it's pushing against what's pushing you. That somebody didn't want your voice, your lesson in this moment to be voiced. That somebody later on this afternoon is going to come into this podcast, right? And be inspired and make some significant movement for themselves, right? And also in doing that, they offer you that opportunity to do a little service for them and make that movement for yourself. So if you got it in you, say it again. Me and Andrew here are sitting here and waiting, right? I'm not forcing you if you're not wanting to, right? If you don't want to put that spiel in again, that's all good, right? But sometimes we do have to push back at what's pushing us. Those are the failures, Sharon. Those are the hiccups. Those are the obstacles. Those are the things that don't want you to make movement for yourself or anybody else. 100% patience. This is something that I had to learn, and it's not always gone, right? I would love things to open up for me, not even tomorrow, but right this moment. But I'm patient in that fact that, right, I don't have control over everything. And where I am right now isn't where I was when I first started my YouTube channel, right? I still think I got my stuff together, but I thought I had my stuff together 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 7 years ago. I thought I was ready. And looking back now, no, right? Because it's in that pivoted, it's in our choices and the change that comes about, right? My values are the same as when I started in on this, right? But the lessons are deeper. Okay. Okay, so Sharon says, I still strive to attain patience within myself, for it's worth digging towards. It is. It is. And if you've got nothing better to do, and all of us think we do have something better to do, right? Make that allotted time, right? Make that allotted time to recognize where you got it right, right? You're not the person you were half a dozen years ago, Sharon, right? We all make movement. We all make mistakes. We all hurt the people we love. We all lift the people that we love. And we all get to choose the people, the singular people that we want to be around. I want to be around Andrew. I want to be around Sharon. But that doesn't mean that there might be somebody around Andrew or around Sharon that I might not appreciate as much as they do, that they don't rub me positively the way they rub you guys, right? That's okay. That's your group. That's your friend. You're my friend, right? I am now at the point of looking at my network as individuals. I am picking, I am choosing, right? But in that patience in picking and choosing, these relationships have taken years in all truth, right? I've met Sharon. Sharon came to see me. But personally, I've never met Andrew. It took letters and kind comments and conversations in the messages over the years, right? That we got to appreciate each other for the people that we are. And I think the people that hang out with me are pretty amazing. The people I have chosen singularly to add to my life are amazing. I might not be picking your crew, I might not be picking your group, but I'm picking you. And if that's okay, right? But lots of people will say that. Well, if you don't accept my Aunt Nancy, then forget it. I want nothing to do with it. If my sister Susan can't be included, forget it. I'm not in. It's your choices. Those are your choices. I've made my choices. I choose you, right? And if you go off your way and I never see you again, right? I wish you well. But if I see you 20 years from now and I bump into you, I'm going to love on you like I'm loving on you in this moment because that won't change because I chose you, right? I chose you and you chose something else, and that's okay. Okay. I once heard something like, I want patience and I want it now. That's so fun. And I want it now, Andrew says. It sounds like the Willy Wonka in the Chocolate Factory, doesn't it, Andrew? You know, she goes, I want it and I want it now with the golden ticket in the chocolate bar. That's what came to mind when you said that, Andrew. Sharon says, I now see the incapacity of that. But as an impatient, impulsive Aries, it's the hard won lessons that are so difficult yet worth the effort, right? But that's the thing, the hard won lessons. You had the patience to go through the hard won lessons. You did it, right? You could have said no to that lesson and missed the lesson altogether, but at least you had that patience. So you can't say that you're impatient. Might be impulsive. I'm impulsive. I'm very impulsive myself. But that impulse comes from, right, that one perspective that I have in the moment. Okay, you guys, I've got to run off because I've got some chores to do and I've only got an hour to do it and I've got to be at work. So we're calling it a day. We'll see each other tomorrow. Hopefully, it's a day off. Have an amazing day. Bye bye.